saw that.
I am extremely excited to the point. That is how excited I am that I don't even bother responding.
So excited you pressed your mute button. You slammed the keyboard.
Thank you so much, Zyori. Thank you so much, Cinderin, for being a great friend. Just have to mention that Mickey has one of the best very rares in the entire game, Dipper the Destroyer.
Yep.
To go along with one of the best
one.
taunts in the game. I cannot wait to see that all game long.
There it is.
One of the few taunts that actually takes advantage of a cosmetic, believe it or not. That's a little trivia question. And when I say trivia, I mean the most useless information you could possibly know.
Yep,
has just
you're the man for
given
that.
To you, Cinderin.
Thank you.
Who do you like in this game?
I'm excited for this game. You know why I'm excited? I love Pugna. I love this hero. It's so fun to play. It's so fun to watch. It makes moments, you know? It has so many things that just make for clutch moments, whether it's insane nether ward damage, it's the clutch save with Decrepify, it's the suck, it's whatever you want it to be in the game. Pugna will bring it, or it's just going to die miserably, and that's also funny. So if there's a Pugna in the game, there's going to be fun. That's just how I see the hero. It always does stuff. Now, it has a lot of good things going for it this game. It's great against Viper in lane. It's great against the Slaughter and Ursa. They're very physical-oriented heroes that need to attack targets, so Decrep good both offensively and defensively there. Not too good against Oracle, though. I think Oracle is one of the better supports at dealing with it, because of its innate ability to handle Decrepify. Oh, they missed the arrow. That's not a good start. Kuro has to skewer away.
Yeah, well, at least he's not on the cliff this time around, but Mickey's getting chased by Miracle. Stormhammer another 6 seconds. Kuroki going to be chasing him as well. As GH in the meantime getting blocked by Insania. See if they can do enough damage to actually finish him off. Looks like they will have enough. That is first blood going the way of Taiga and a Stormhammer to follow onto Mickey, but it looks like he will be fine. As
really
nice blocking from Insania.
Whoop.
Kuroki can't quite get to the cliff again. Been struggling with that one a bit, although this is more to get away than anything. So a lot of damage being done. First blood for Liquid. Still a lot of regen, of course, for Nigma, but yeah, overall a win in the first engagements here for Liquid.
You're aggro tri-laning into Willow Oracle supports with these three. I'm not sure this idea from Nigma is going to pay off as well as they hope. In my opinion, this is not a good lane for Magnus. He wants to be, if he's tri-laning, he wants to be in the safe lane so he can skewer into tower and follow up on the Sven stun, but here that's not a possibility. Instead, you're now kind of stuck in the enemy's safe lane where they have two ranged supports that are going to bully your Mag plus Mirana, and they'll win that trade every time. They have way more spell damage, they have the reach. Kuro kind of has to run in as a wall like this, and he can do that a little bit, but regen is going to become a problem over time for him, so he can't consistently do it. So what was your trade-off as Nigma that made you do this? You want to give Tide a good game. He's going to lane against Slaughter. I actually think Slaughter... Is your Tide looking really weird too? What just happened? I'm not talking about the blue form.
He has the dire Tide thing?
He was golden for me. He was like actually solid gold for a moment. I don't know how that happened.
That's a new cosmetic that 1% of the time you turn golden. Taiga in the meantime, top lane. Looks like he will survive through the onslaught of damage. When he gets... Oh, you're right. He does turn
When he gets crushed, he turns to gold. Huh. It's like Hand of Midas for a while.
Well, as we're looking at the cosmetics, Miracle dies in the top lane. This wasn't my fault this time.
I'm sure the observer was watching there. They know what to watch. They know what's important.
Cosmetics. Absolutely. Nice. So another kill going the way of Liquid. This tri-lane not working out in favor of Nigma at all. So, I mean, it's still relatively early, but 12-2 for Ursa. Sven 3-0. So Miracle obviously struggling along with that death. Like, what do they do? Like, you were talking about Kuroki being this thing being kind of awkward because you're not close to a tower. But I feel like if he goes to any other lane, it doesn't really make any difference. It doesn't put them over the edge, does it? Like, if he goes bot lane, does that really help? Because mind control is just going to get less levels.
I mean, they've kind of locked themselves into this position now where they have to do this. I'm just wondering if Tide's game was going to be miserable enough that they had to do this. If they had like Tide Mirana top, I think you have a good chance that either Tide or Mirana can maybe start pulling waves and you can, you know, break the lane up instead of just being static. Obviously the Tide versus Ursa is a really bad matchup, but at the very least you give Sven a good start. Like this, I'm just worried that they can't enable Miracle enough out of this beginning, but we'll see when the lane stabilizes a little bit more.
Well, this gives
it's
us
not
a
even
little
like
bit of time
Tide wins bot. I think it's a... I don't know, actually. I would like to play Slaughter in that lane. I think Slaughter is happy too.
melee versus melee. I think both are kind of happy. They're just trading farm right now.
Yeah, that's probably how it's gonna go. Like, Slargo has a slight advantage in the start because his damage overpowers the Kraken Shell, and then Kraken Shell gets high enough level to get Morbid Mask, and I think they both kind of just farm. Might even see a Morbid Mask on Bo3 too. You just hit creeps.
So back to the important conversation, the cosmetic in the bot lane, Cinderin. So I believe the slither, I could be wrong. I believe the headpiece for Bo3 is a golden slithering crush, right? I don't remember it affecting enemies to be golden. I could be wrong, but I think it becomes way more obvious and weird looking because of Mind Control's Diretide cosmetic.
I think maybe it makes golden particles around the target, and then when you're blue like this, you're just a sponge for particles or something. I don't know what it is. It doesn't look intended, but it looks cool.
Well, if it looks cool, then it is intended. We've learned this many times throughout Dota. Whether something is a bug or a feature is a very thin line.
An intended bug is what you're saying.
Yes. Well, look at it this way. There's been so many bugs in the game that have become features, right? And the one that really makes me angry is it was in the game for years, Centaur's Return. I think we've talked about this before. Working on illusions, right? So you just get really tanky and get like a Manta style on Centaur. People did this for like a week and a half, and then it was patched as a bug fix. But it was in the game for years. So what if it's a good thing? It's a feature. If it seems OP, it's a bug. You see?
Okay.
I think that's the criteria.
I'm pretty sure turning to solid gold is not OP.
Depends, you know? If there's an alchemist in the game, you could take advantage of that.
Slither and crush the Tidehunter and then kill him with Alch.
Gain 10K. Extra gold when you're golden. I mean, that could be a counter to cosmetics.
Do you think Valve should start putting in small Easter eggs like that into Dota? Like some sort of insane interaction that is bound to happen in 1 out of a million games, and then when it does, it's amazing?
Yeah, and then they have to patch it because it's broken. Right?
Skewer is available.
Indeed. Looks like he's going to take the full Fortune's End. He's going to skewer it away, though. Well, now the Courier's in a lot of trouble. Kuroki, does he have the move speed to actually finish it off? It looks like he does. Will be successful. Miracle trying to catch up in this lane in terms of CS. And Shadow Realm is popped. Still will take the brunt of that damage to Taiga. And looks like Kuroki's going to find his way to the grave. Mickey gets a second. Is now Miracle on the run in a 3v1, but they don't really have any utility to throw at him.
This lane is just flat out, it's a disaster. I don't know what the best course of action is here, but I think keeping on running up here with these 3 heroes is just not gonna cut it. It looks like that is their plan though. They just keep coming back, but the plays aren't working. Miracle is running
arrow.
It does connect.
Into the shockwave as well, not even needing to skewer, although the Shadow Realm keeps him alive for now, and the skewer misses, and the damage to Miracle with the Shadow Realm, unbelievable. This is so out of control now in Liquid's favor. You're right, they just keep coming down to this, or coming up to this lane and feeding away, Cinderin. This is a disaster.
I'm looking for solutions. It's easy to say that this is bad, but we need to give a better suggestion, and if we can't come up with it, then I guess you're gonna have to keep doing this, right? Can you maybe make a Pugna rotation and put the Sven toward mid? He's gonna get destroyed by Viper. It doesn't seem like a good solution. Can you swap the lanes around now? You're gonna be playing Sven level 3 into Slaughter almost level 6. That's also not a good solution. Chose this in the beginning of the game when you said we think it's more important that our Tide dodges the Ursa. I think it's going to come down to Weehaw rotations. I think you're going to just try to keep your cool, get this level 6 Pugna, and hope that that results in something big. It's really the main thing I see for them right now. Has to come out of that mid lane.
No, I agree. I think once you, like you said, once you made that decision, you got to just go all in with it, because switching up lanes won't really... What?
That is very unusual. I mean, if they keep finding kills up here, it's a value item, right? It's like, maybe it's a taunt item. It's like, you guys are feeding, I'm buying Urn. But,
we'll see if that works out for him.
I think this is the first time I've ever seen Ursa buy this. I'm not saying it hasn't happened before, but I haven't been watching much Ursa lately, so it really stands out. It's definitely not a classic item whatsoever to pick up on this hero. It's not a good Vessel. I mean, it's okay against Pugna to get Vessel, I suppose. Don't know. I don't think he's gonna upgrade it though.
And we're gonna see a TP mid. Shadow Realm is popped, and Koikfa the level disadvantage against Weeha is actually going to dodge the Shadow Realm auto attack, as Kuroki and GH are now in the mid lane, attempting to clean up Taiga, but with this Bedlam placed in the mid lane, they can't really maneuver themselves away. It feels like Kuroki, not to his fault, it just feels like a weird Magnus game. Like the skewers are so hard to come by with this really annoying Bedlam. Or, sorry, Bramble constantly being placed.
It's just hard in the off lane. I mean, that's the main thing. If this lane matchup was the exact same, but they were the tri lane in the safe lane, I think it's very different. Because then you can Sven stun and skewer into tower, and you can play the trees. But here, it's just so much harder. There's two ranged heroes constantly covering the right side of the lane, so you can't really go from there. And if you try to go from the left, it's just not. It just doesn't work in the same way, just because of layout.
Miracle level 3, by the way.
In the jungle. Oh, he's not even gonna
in the jungle. So here comes the rotation from Weeha. So Insania takes a tumble. But as we can see,
a small prize. Oh, Miracle
being
dies
spotted
here.
by Taiga. Curse Crown along with the Shadow Realm. Looks like the Brambles do miss. But still, Miracle being forced out of the triangle. And now they're warding it up.
He kills the one creep and gets a neutral item. I mean, it doesn't steal it away. It's still their own, but the fact that Miracle couldn't get that Ursa also hurts. Now he's going top, and now he's spotted by another ward again. He cannot catch a break. And I feel like the way Nigma play their team and the way they strategize, in the past they've had games where Miracle has had a bad start and then they've kind of recovered off of playing around. At the time they had Matu, right? So it would be, sometimes Matu would make a lot of space or Mind Control would have a great game. With this draft and how this patch works and how they've been playing lately, I feel like Nigma will struggle a lot when Miracle has a bad start. It really is the big difference maker. In general in this patch, like the carry needs to feel good, right? He is very sad.
No, they're looking for a potential kill here. Stonehammer into Arrow, into the Decrepify suck from Weeha is going to be enough to take out Koikfa.
That's a good kill.
Really big kill. Weeha top of the net worth, and he's going to be the... Well, I guess both him and Mind Control are really high in net worth, so they have to be able to create space at some point for Miracle.
I mean, we're talking about it a lot.
If they get stacks, he can come back, right?
And let's also not paint the picture too grim, right? Because, yeah, your Sven is having a rough start, but there's a bright spot, especially in that mid lane. Weeha with the 800 gold lead over Koikva. He's playing a very high tempo hero. Pugna is one of those heroes that, if it has a good start, it can really put so much pressure, and that will alleviate pressure from the top lane. Pugna will spam push this tower. Liquid will rotate to try to stop him, either with Viper +1 or maybe even +2. And that is time that Sven can spend recovering in the jungle. So at the very least, it's the right, like, how to say, archetype of hero that they have for this game in mid to solve the problem. Imagine if Weeha was a farm hero, how rough this would look right now with a support mag and a passive 2 and a Sven without a lane. Right. But fortunately, it's a high tempo mid that can really solve this problem. So it's definitely, like, it's a tough start, but recoverable. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Miracle's net worth, it's not like it's not great, obviously, but it doesn't look like it's something that he can't come back from, especially with the inherent cleave that we brought up so many times. I mean, he's just literally jungling 100% of the time.
Still got a 9-minute mom.
Yeah, Mask of Madness will obviously help him in that regard. And we haven't seen any rotation from Mind Control. What do you think about this? It's basically just been a 1v1 this entire game in this bot lane. Neither hero wants to get out of here.
Scanning.
10 more denies on Boxy. Probably just playing around that bash plus crush. He can always just stun and then take the deny. Might have seen a side camp as well.
Net worth wise, they're pretty close to being called even here. But yeah, the level advantage pretty decent.
I don't know. It's hard to rotate as these heroes right now, right? Like Slaughter can technically TP top and go for a sprint play, but
Croaky's dead top.
Who are you sending bot if you do that? It's very dead.
Tower is under attack.
That's the awkward thing, right? If Slaughter rotates off this lane, who can take it? Sven can't go there. Sorry, not Sven. I think maybe you could send Ursa. It's like Ursa against Tide is good in theory, obviously, especially if it's a 1v1, but with Tide having the level advantage and all this farm, I don't know if you feel happy about it. You're basically giving the enemy team the avenue of killing Ursa. If you send him bottom, then a rotation from Mirana could be a kill with Ravage, etc. So they're probably happy with the state of affairs.
Well, they're actually expecting Ravage here into the Arrow bot lane. Starts to follow with a Terrorize onto 2. Looks like Boxy might survive. He's going to TP out with the Bramble right next to him.
Such a good read based on the ward they have. They know exactly what's coming, so they have the Terrorize in position, and Taiga places it perfectly. That was really nicely done. It's going to cost them a Slaughter TV back to base, but well worth it. 3 hero rotation from Nigma failing that gank.
Oh, smoke is popped. Yeah, they know that somebody's here, possibly Invis. He's going to show himself as Weehaw with GH helping out. The arrow's going to connect on the Shadow Realm target. Remember, Ravage is down, but they're going to find the Dark Willow regardless. Now the Decrepify into the Nether Blast to follow. Quickfoot. He's at half HP with Bo3 coming to help him out. See if this will be enough. His life drain is actually canceled thanks to that crush. So really good timing from Bo3 overall. He's going to find Mirana, so it's a 1-for-1 to start things out. There's the RP for Kuroki. Finally getting that level 6. Really needed that, but not enough damage to actually finish anybody off. And it's like Weehaw is the one that dies. A 3-for-0 so far as Kuroki being chased by Bo3. And with Skewer up in 5 seconds, I don't think he's going to be able to survive this. Huge turnaround for Liquid. I thought that
if they get Sven now too, it's a total disaster. Miracle
could be a complete team wipe.
He can't die.
Trying to slow him. Arrow. He's going to split the uprights, and yeah, the stack McGay more than enough. Full team wipe in favor of Liquid.
All over the place there. Really, the key factor is that the Ravage was blown earlier bottom, right? That's what gives Liquid the confidence they can easily fight back. No Ravage available for mind control. They're still invading with the Pugna. And as long as they break that life drain with that Crush every time, or with the Terrorize or whatever, then they can always just save like this as well with the Oracle. So a nice counter there. Just Fate's Edict. Very effective against Pugna.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Sven has still somehow managed to get Tread's Mom. I mean, it's not good, but given the start Miracle had, this is honestly pretty good. It's not good based on average, but it's good based on this game state. Let's say it that way.
Based on the dumpster fire that began this game, yeah, I would totally agree. I mean, we've seen so many games where position 1 just never recovers, and I feel like he's not fully recovered, but he's definitely on his way.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Bo3
attack.
might be soloing this tier 1 bot. There's absolutely 0 resistance to start things off, but Moonlight Shadow for Nigma.
Dire's top tower
Sights might be sent on Taiga, but they're going to show.
Radiant's
So the top lane might be where it's at, but Sanya keeping himself away from potential harm. So it looks like Moonlight Shadow won't be used for much other than a ward here from GH. Actually, he didn't actually put a ward down, I don't think. So just for general vision, 1K net worth lead for Liquid. So despite all this, not a huge advantage by any means.
No, and we should also remember what heroes we're working with here, right? Like, I don't think I'm surprising anyone if I say I think on average Sven's a stronger carry this patch than Ursa. Like, that's the way it scales, the itemization, its impact. It's really important for Liquid that Sven is doing poorly so that Ursa can pull ahead. And he's using this advantage to build a Battle Fury so he can possibly stay ahead. When it comes to that matchup head-to-head, if Ursa has the same net worth as Sven, he's one of the few carries that can flat out just maul him, you know? You don't have to run away. It's kind of similar to Lifestealer going Halberd. You can keep going.
Bo3 going off that Blink Dagger, and that's a God Strength Sven. Does get most of the Ancients, but obviously the death is really going to hurt.
That is such a good rotation. It kills Sven, and it probably gets them the mid-tier 1 as well, so well worth it. Bo3 stopping there for the traffic light arrow. Well, he is...
Corrosive Haze, but not much else. The Decrepify into the Suck. Weehaw.
Yo, he is confident. He is in there.
Gets the crush off. Terrorize onto 3.
Wait, how many colors is Tide right now? He's blue, gold, and green.
He's rainbow.
He got Decrep too. Like, I don't know.
Dire are scared.
I love it.
That Dire Tide thing really messes with the color.
That was a great tower defense, by the way, from Nigma here. I was sure that tower was dead, but good play from Wii, immediately getting in there, threatening, and Liquid are going to back off. So important strategic point here, defending that tower.
Nikkei did finish the Battle Fury, so 15 minutes for an Ursa on top of an Urn and Phase.
Urn and Phase, yeah.
Don't see that every day. It is strange. I mean, do you think... I don't...
Take us.
You never build this into a Spirit Vessel, right? So it's literally just for the laning stage. Because now you have a bunch of regen.
He might like it on Ursa for the mana regen. This hero really wants mana as well. So it's like
he doesn't take the talent, I'm guessing.
Armor, all attributes, and mana regen. Okay. And then he wanted it for the lane value, I'm assuming. And then there might be some secondary value here in terms of... I don't know if there's any daggers he's trying to counter down the line. Maybe... it's a bit of a stretch, I think. I don't know, actually. It's a bit... Like, maybe it's also just a philosophy that Liquid have, that they're like, Urn is a really good item, we want to have one as often as possible, in this game you can buy it, or... Because we've seen teams starting to grab this on offlaners more and more, right? Sometimes mids, sometimes fours. It's a feel-good item.
Rarely ones.
Very rarely carry, of course. Absolutely.
Definitely cool to see. Now, Roshan is going to be the big contention point here. Obviously, Liquid have the major advantage in terms of taking him down quickly with both the Slardar and Ursa. At the same time, you do have some counter initiation in forms of the Tidehunter RP from Magnus as well. So you can't really just go and do it without those on cooldown or getting a pick off first, it feels like, or just sneaking it somehow, which I feel like would be hard to do.
At the same time, though, most of Nigma's stuns are high commitment, right? Both RP and Ravage are big cooldowns, and they need to be used well, and there's always that Oracle factor. So if you send Ursa into the pit with Corrosive Haze and he has lifesteal, you can just hit it for free, and then if they start using big stuns, you save him with Oracle. Maybe you take a big fight out of it with Viper in the pit. So it's definitely possible. There's one extra thing about this Urn, and then we'll close the topic if you don't mind.
I mind. I want to talk about
He might be getting it specifically because of its value with Oracle, right? Like, you're playing with a hero that has to save. Usually Oracle himself will want to buy an Urn a lot of the time. But if he feels like he can't afford it, this way you can ulti the Ursa and he can always earn himself and it doesn't break. So there's a lot of extra healing that's reliable for him in the fight. I think it's just an item they want to have when they have Oracle, and that's it. So that's probably how they're thinking. That he's the obvious target for... And if someone else gets Oracle ulted, he's always in range, right? Ursa's in there. He will be able to earn the target most of the time.
Ursa also support hero this game.
Yeah.
Healing teammates if they're false promised.
So the little Ursa cub on the back is holding the urn.
I mean, it's true, like with Enrage being able to keep you alive for a lot longer, obviously false promise on top of that, but just being able to heal yourself in that false promise, it just feels that much more difficult to take him out. It's not like it took him a long time to get, right? He got that super early in lane stage because they were just dumpstering that lane.
And it's a big heal. It heals 240 in total. So with Oracle ulti, they overlap perfectly, by the way. Oracle ulti level 1 lasts 8 seconds and Urn lasts 8 seconds. So you double the heal from 240 to 480. It's quite powerful, right? It's a reliable 500 health that you know you're going to get if you get Oracle ulti. So
I can hear a Moonlight Shadow. Nigma working their way towards bot lane. Mickey would be an enormous kill. Insania is in the vicinity with false promise available.
He would be happy to die here if Ursa gets out. Great read. Sentry is down.
Wow, that was great.
Very, very good.
If he gets out.
Oh, no,
he's not out yet. Goes back in, gets gushed. Weehop pops the Haster, so you can't chase him anymore. Minecraft still with that Ravage, but Liquid are here in numbers now. This is going to be a big team fight. Stormhammer onto the Toy to start things up with a Crush. Looks like they're going to be able to take out Miracle at the start of this fight, and there's a false promise already being used on Ursa. He's going to earn himself and should be good to go as a result. Actually, no, he dies. Wow, they actually did enough damage, but Mind Control, Kraken Shell activates. Not that they actually want to go towards him, but Kuroki misses his RP. Truly unfortunate. In the meantime, Weehaw getting bashed down by Boxy, and Koipa's right click, but the suck is there. Do they have another stun in the meantime? The Crush to follow, and they finally take him out. It takes forever, but it's a 2-for-1. As the chase on the Mind Control, the endless battle of the Tidehunter will finally come to an end. Ends up being a 3-for-1. I was actually really surprised that Ursa died. But Miracle dying, like literally the beginning of the fight, did not help things out. He didn't get any experience for that.
I think this was actually one of those fights that can highlight the Urn, right? He didn't have a charge when he got Oracle ultied. We kind of wrote him off as going to live there, and I think the Urn would have done it. He popped it in the end when they got another kill, so he got charges, but then he only had like 1 second and didn't heal much. So at least a bit of a saving grace there for Nigma, but you can't be happy when their fight starts with Sven getting burst on the sideline. That is pretty much the worst possible way the fight can start. And it made things relatively easy for Liquid to capitalize there. Now 4K lead. Reckon they will start thinking more and more about this Roshan. They're actually going for it right now.
Indeed.
Tide ulti and Mag ulti on cooldown. How are Nigma possibly going to combat this?
I mean, they have God strength, but yeah, without that CC, it'll be very difficult to contest. I feel like he had an Urn charge before the fight starts, and maybe he used one aggressively as the fight was happening. Either way, free Roche for Liquid. Mind Control. Okay, that's the Aegis. Jesus, Decrepify into the life drain is more than enough, and Mickey just has to hightail away. That was miscalculation at its best right there. Stormhammer onto 3. The crush to follow, though. He's going to turn this around on the Miracle again. He's going to take the Viper Strike, but getting healed by Weehaw in the meantime. Terrorize to follow, though, and that is more than enough to take out Miracle again. That is his 6th death. He's 0-6-1. Not something you see every day from Miracle. Mickey. Boxy ends up tanking it. They're going to take out Kuroki very easily. But has to be careful with the Decrepify into the life drain again, but Fate's Edict able to help him out just a bit to survive through another combo from Weehaw. Weehaw is, it feels like the saving grace right now for Liquid. Even though they're losing, it feels like these fights could be super lopsided if there wasn't a Pugna.
Decrepify is really... I mean, I don't want to say saving the game because they're still losing fights, but it's saving lives and making things harder for Liquid Heroes. You're definitely seeing the purpose of the pick in what Decrepify is able to do. But they still have this inherent problem that it's hard for them to take fights and win them without hitting a big Ravage or a big RP, and none of them have daggers. It's just difficult. Like, how are you going to walk into this lineup and get a good one off? Slaughter has dagger, Willow has a Yule and has the Shadow Realm, so even if she does get ravaged, she might live regardless because she's untargetable. Viper now has BKB, Oracle ulti save, Ursa Enrage. It looks like literally every hero on the Dire has a solution to the only thing that can win Nigma a fight right now. That makes it really hard.
Well, let's talk about the itemization from Nigma. Obviously, Kuroki is very poor, so the Blink Dagger is what he
there
wants
is a
to go
Titan
for.
Mind Control, he just got it, actually. That's
okay. I was going to ask, like, the Greaves' first item, did you like that, considering the state of the game?
I don't know, maybe he felt like he had to get it against Atos, so he can get away from the Atos plus Nether Toxin combo. But I do see... I don't know, I feel like if he bought Dagger first, we would have been like, why did you buy Dagger first? You couldn't have fought anyway. It's just because Sven's game is this bad, right? It's damn it if you do, damn it if you don't situation where I don't really know if there's any item build that's just great. So you kind of have to settle for what you can get. I think it's all right. I'm just happy he got a dagger in general. I think if he didn't get it now, I feel like that would be a mistake because it's apparent now that they will need it in order to stand a fighting chance.
Moonlight Shadow, this is the, I believe, third attempt, which first two have not resulted in, I don't believe, anything. Miracle, I mean, are you waiting for something for Nigma? Like, do you want this BKB before you actually start fighting? Because Miracle is dying, like, instantly in these fights, it feels like. And
how good is the BKB this game is also my question. You're still not going to be able to main fight Ursa for the most part. You're still going to be Viper ultied. There's still Slardar that pierces you with Corrosive Haze and his Bash, so it's not a safety item.
And Viper Strike.
But I don't know if there's anything better. That's the problem. I think if you go Ags straight, you jump in like Superman, but then you're paper, so it's not going to cut it. You might have to get this and then a next item Ags.
Radiant's bottom tower.
It surely doesn't feel great, but I can't think of a better build, so...
Well, you got to give Liquid credit then in terms of their lineup.
Yeah, it's very good against
expected the Sven to come out. Not that Sven was that crazy of a thing to call, but...
very concealed first phase pick.
But they've actually countered it. Quakefa, second in net worth in terms of the total for the game, has the Atos Boots of Travel BKB with 10 seconds, so it's a fresh one. Is actually going Aghanim Scepter. Very cool. So... I believe that isn't it just damage and cooldown? Let's see if they've changed it. Decreases mana cost, cooldown, and cast range. That's right.
The cast range is also a really big upgrade. It makes it way easier to find Sven in the fight. Like, a lot of the time Sven will be, you know, in range, but sometimes he, especially when he gets the Ags, he will maybe find the backline or find a different angle to the fight entirely. And it just gives you more freedom to make sure you get that on the right hero. And you know who your target is this game. You want to Viper Strike that guy every fight if you can.
Yeah.
So...
I'm trying to remember
Boxy
what the cooldown ends up becoming. Isn't it like 10 or 8 seconds? Something super low for Viper Strike.
I don't. It's 10. Yeah.
Yeah, so... I mean, you can use that multiple times in fights. Super good.
Yeah. Against Sven, a lot of the time Sven's fights end before 10 seconds, though. But in this game, they might survive long enough to use it multiple times, I agree. Ursa going for the standard build. He went Sanjin Yasha, now he gets BKB. Sometimes you see them bypass BKB to go straight Satanic. In this game, I think the BKB is mandatory. There's just too many stuns. You get all the freedom. And now you're getting Nullifier to...
Oh, the crush onto 3 heroes. Bo3 showing off his Aghanim Scepter as well. Miracle trying to right-click him down, but there's the Viper strike to follow. Ravage now, but Miracle just getting right-clicked by Mickey. Absolutely destroyed, terrorized onto 2 heroes now, as it looks like Liquid are just cleaning up this fight. GH looks to be next on the list. Taiga ends up saving himself thanks to that Yules, and that is 4 kills instantly in favor of Liquid.
Dude, Bo3 is so tanky. He has 3k HP when he jumps in. 3k HP, he has the Bracer, so he gets the additional magic resist. He just blink crushes, he's sitting in a puddle, and... I mean, what do you do about it? They don't have enough damage. They actually can't kill him when he goes first. That is such a sick jump, because not only does it set up his team to follow through, but it's like a semi-bait where Nigma feel like, okay, do you not turn on that guy then? How do you get away? He gets the 3-man crush. If you don't turn around and slow him or stun him or whatever, he's going to keep running at you. He doesn't care. So you kind of feel like you have to fight back, but you can't. You're just getting absolutely beat down.
This is what they've had to resort to.
Yep.
This is the AUI special. Not usually Pugna, but you just sit in the trees and...
Blasting a tower blasting a tower through backdoor protection.
Yes,
I mean, no matter who does this, I don't think it's good. This isn't... I mean... Okay, now it broke.
Uh-oh, Miracle. He's gonna pop his BKB. Kuroki trying to get off the RP, but not to be this time around. Does have buyback though. Miracle, there's... Oh my god! Mickey.
As strong as the Sven Slardar has looked in games we've watched, Ursa Slardar is also filthy when they kind of combine. It's level 3 corrosive haste, so minus 20 armor. Ursa has Orb of Destruction, that's minus 24. And what's Miracle's base armor? It's 10. And he has a dragon scale. And he looked like he did. I mean, he didn't have any armor, so he didn't only look like it. There's just nothing there.
Kuroki's back. He does have his RP still, like we talked about, but look at the damage on the GH. Already forcing out the greaves from mind control. This looks like, at the very least, a tower. And of course, Bo3 can just tank this to a high degree. They don't have Aegis or anything like that to work with. Let's see if they commit to a Rax or not. God Strength is available as well, and they should know this. Yeah, they're just going to play Disciplined again. Liquid has been doing this all series long. So away they go. Aghanim's almost online for Quickfa. And from the Ursa's perspective, almost with a Nullifier. So this is like the Pugna, feels like the Pugna and Necrophos hard counter. That's what I think of first when somebody buys a Nullifier. Just absolutely destroys them. Of course, good against Sven's Warcry as well.
It's the item really for carries to get against Pugna. Pugna will always have that counterplay against carries where you self-decrep. Usually, earlier on in the game, you want to decrep the carry, so you can also deal damage to them, but they buy BKB for that part, and now you buy the Nullifiers to solve the other part, and suddenly... It's kind of, you know, we talked a lot of good stuff about this Pugna as a pick in this game. Its timing is disappearing now, and you've just been crushed, right? You didn't really win a single fight all game. You lost the laning stage. And here comes Mickey, and there's another great crush.
Double crush, instant kill onto Kuroki. Mind control still with the Ravage available. And again, buyback still there for Kuroki. But they're just going to give up this kill again. So a double for Mickey, who is... actually is finishing the Nullifier, so not saving for any kind of buyback situation. It's not like Nigma, even if they win a fight miraculously, aren't going to be able to push to too fast of a degree. And with Roshan, you know, potentially respawning soon, they can perhaps wait for that if they don't want to commit.
Yeah, they can. In this game state, it's extremely difficult to see the Radiant take a fight outside their base. That's favored. If Liquid has vision and a smoke breaks, Bo3 can just blink in on whatever he sees and crush, and he feels super safe. They either have to drop absolutely everything on him to try to kill him, in which case he can still get Oracle saved, or he just broke their smoke or their play or whatever, and they kind of have to back off and yield. That's just how monsters.
What do you think of Weeha Dagon? Decrep into Dagon 2 right now for Weeha.
Yeah.
Just really trying to get kills.
I mean, it's something. There's not much damage happening, right? It's another example from my perspective of, you know, what's better, right? Like, you gotta buy something, and if you buy defensive items, the enemy team isn't dying. So you gotta hope for that, like, surprise play where you blink Ravage and then you decrypt Aegon someone and get a burst kill on a key hero like Ursa or Slardar, and then maybe that can lead to something. I genuinely think it's the best item choice he can get here. Like, from our perspective, it doesn't look good, but there's just nothing that's going to look good when the game is this hard. So you got to try your best win chance item.
Especially when you see that the nullifier is there for Mickey. All that minus armor to work with. Boxy with his. They're going to go for this uphill potential fight. They're going to get the crush up. Actually does connect on the Kuroki. Gets the RP off. It's the Ravage. Do they have damage to follow up? Kuroki melts under the pressure. Now Miracle getting right click down. Weeha not able to save him in time. The heal just not nearly enough. A triple kill for Mickey. And this will be a Roshan to follow most likely, or just a game. 23k net worth lead, 4 to 28. Liquid's favor.
So they actually just can't do anything when they get jumped on. It's just no counterplay left. Ursa pops in Rage and BKB. Whoever he decides to kill will die. They have no save except Cognitive Prep, and that one gets nullified off, so good luck. You can't really save them. Miracle stood his ground there and hit 3 times, did 50 damage, and Ursa just cut through him like butter. You know? It's pretty crazy to see. That's Dota for you. Like, one game Sven looks like the most broken hero ever, and the next game is just useless. Like, it's really so much can happen based on what happens in the first 10 minutes and what counter picks you have.
Yeah, the laning stage was just as part of a stomp up that I've seen in quite a while. It looks like the damage will be done this time to Weeha. There's that nullifier just crushing him, not able to decrepify himself. This will be at the very least a Rax. They cannot go for Megas, so they'll have to go for either bottom or the throne. And again, everybody is melting. With the corrosive haze and with the orb of destruction, Ursa just 3-shots people. Absolutely insane. Mind control nullified again. And yeah, is dead as a result. BKB pop for Mickey. Not really needed, but GG is finally called. And Team Liquid take this series. It's so weird. Every game was a stomp. And it's 2-1.
Yeah. Just absolutely rolled this game. It has you wonder what would have happened if they placed their lanes differently. I understand why they did what they did, but the top lane did not go as well as they expected. They can't be surprised that this is what they ran into. Sometimes you have an idea and you think it's going to work out better, whether this was a theory problem or play problem.